Before diving into tariffs, a core component of Donald Trump's economic agenda, it's worth revisiting the chicken war, a significant trade dispute. After World War II, chicken consumption soared in West Germany, with much of the supply coming from American farmers. By 1962, U.S. chicken exports to Europe were on track to exceed $50 million, equivalent to $500 million today. European farmers, unhappy with this competition, pushed for tariffs. As a result, the precursor to the European Union imposed duties on American poultry, increasing the price of a 5-pound chicken from $1.60 to $2.25, causing imports to plummet. In response, U.S. chicken farmers and politicians retaliated. The U.S. imposed a 25% tariff on German trucks, such as those produced by Volkswagen. The impact was significant. Germany's truck sales in the U.S. were cut in half and never fully recovered. Meanwhile, Germans paid more for chicken and Americans had fewer truck options. While tariffs were less prominent in trade policies for decades, Trump sought to reintroduce them as a tool of economic strategy, framing them as a means of protecting American industries. Trump's approach to tariffs was notably aggressive. In 2018, his administration imposed duties on washing machines, arguing that they would benefit American consumers and create jobs. Once tariffs were in place, importers had to pay fees, which they passed on to consumers, increasing prices. As expected, demand for domestic washing machines rose, and their prices also went up. Even dryers, which were not subject to tariffs, became more expensive due to their association with washing machines. Although these measures resulted in the creation of about 1,800 jobs, mostly from foreign manufacturers like Samsung and LG opening plants in the U.S., they also cost American consumers an additional $1.5 billion, equating to roughly $815,000 per job created. Many economists argue that tariffs are an inefficient way to boost employment. Trump also introduced tariffs on steel and aluminum, partly to penalize China for violating trade rules and partly for national security reasons, as these materials are crucial for military and industrial production. However, these measures had mixed results. While they helped protect domestic steel manufacturers, they increased costs for industries that rely on steel, making American businesses less competitive globally. Studies showed that while some manufacturing jobs were stabilized, overall employment in industries using steel and aluminum declined. While Trump's tariffs encouraged some companies to move production out of China, they did not significantly alter China's trade policies. In some ways, they even made China more assertive in global trade. Despite their economic drawbacks, tariffs tend to persist due to domestic lobbying and their usefulness as bargaining tools in trade negotiations. The 25% tariff on trucks, initially introduced during the chicken war, remains in place 60 years later, long after U.S. chicken farmers lost interest in selling to Europe. The Biden administration reviewed Trump's tariffs, and rather than removing them, decided to maintain or even increase some. This highlights how difficult it is to reverse trade policies once they are implemented. If re-elected, Trump aims to expand tariffs dramatically, proposing a 60% duty on all Chinese imports and a 10 to 20% tariff on goods from other countries. He argues that this would force other nations to pay back the U.S. for its contributions to the global economy. However, economic studies suggest these measures could have significant downsides. One report estimated that such tariffs could cost the average American household $1,700 annually due to rising prices. Another analysis predicted potential job losses exceeding $684,000. Additionally, other nations could retaliate with their own tariffs, further harming American exports. Trump envisions tariffs as a key revenue source to fund tax cuts, estimating that they could generate around $250 billion per year, about 5% of current federal tax revenue. China's aggressive investment in manufacturing has transformed it into the world's largest exporter. Its ability to produce steel, aluminum, and other goods at below-market prices, often in violation of trade regulations, has fueled growing concerns in the U.S. The long-term effects of Trump's proposed tariffs remain uncertain. In the short run, they could disrupt the economy. In the long run, they might escalate tensions between the U.S. and other nations, particularly China. Trump's strategy hinges on whether other countries will back down or retaliate in what could become a high-stakes trade standoff.